It's been 10 weeks, 5 cabinets, 50 ministers locking horns on the battlefield of ideas here on Ghana's Youth President. Welcome to the grand finale of the reality TV show that's in charge and, of course, responsible for shaping the discourse among the young people. If you're excited, a round of applause for all of you. It's been an exciting time listening to all the young people do what they know how to do best, debate in the House of Parliament. They've shown that they're ready to change the narrative. They're ready to cause a change, of course, a shift in the paradigm as well. And they truly can see that the agenda is about to change. But of course, here in the Parliament, there's a high authority that sees to all of the proceedings here. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the Speaker of Parliament. And now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. And now we have the opportunity to go into a session. Remember, this reality TV show, the Ghana's Youth President, is powered by the Youth Leadership Parliament that models what exactly happens in the Parliament and the lawmaking body of Ghana. And so we're going to go into a session pretty soon, and that will be held and led by the Speaker of Parliament. We're going to have opening statements from the minority side and, of course, the majority side, all in about 5 minutes. When we come back, we'll start off with the show, and I'll get to introduce the judges that have walked us through all throughout, and today they're here. Welcome to the grand finale of the Ghana's Youth President. I now hand over to the Speaker of Parliament, Queen Borisa.
Founder, Mr. Kobe Fabian, honorable judges, Dr. Kuku Baini, CEO of Media 7, Presidential Cabinet here gathered, youth MPs, media partners, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol duly observed. First of all, I would like to thank our founder, Mr. Kobe Fabian, and the rest of the team for putting this amazing idea called Ghana's Youth President together. And congratulations to all of you. We are finally here. Yeah, grand finale.
Well, over the weeks, we've asked you to vote because you carry 40%. But again, 60% belonged to the judges. They have scored and they have allowed us to shape the discourse here in the House. Again, we have them right here in the House. They're going to be doing the justice to the 5 presidents who want to become the first ever Ghana's Youth President. Ladies and gentlemen, let me start off with the very first man who is always apolitical in his submissions. Again, he might have leanings, but he is always very objective. Indeed, he's the CEO of Object Consult. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're excited about him, let's welcome Mr. Michael Niyaboy Annan. Well, we've seen you in 9 episodes. You missed only 1. Again, what are your expectations for today?
Well, It's good to be back at the finals, and my expectation is one of fireworks. I am expecting the president to bring out everything. Today is the kill. Just give it to us. That is what I'm expecting.
Absolutely. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Mr. Michael Niabo Annan. Today is the kill. That's what we expect largely from all the presidents that will come through. Well, the man that always asked for facts and figures. Once you're not accurate, you're going to have very low marks. Ladies and gentlemen, our very own Mr. Jignesh Viradia. Well, 10 weeks you've been with us. You've changed faces. You are a man of many colors. Today, you're looking good. Let's have your take on exactly what you expect from these 5 presidents.
Thank you. The expectation is that the battle should be on, and the expectation is the survival of the fittest, the survival of the quickest, and survival of the smartest.
I see. Survival of the fittest, quickest, and the smartest. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Vignesh Viradia. Right. So the woman who left us at some point, she was the principal judge here on Ghana's Youth President. She's back for the grand finale. I'm talking about Lawyer Elsie Apau. Ladies and gentlemen, Lawyer Elsie Apau, welcome back. Where have you been?
In and around the world.
In and around the world. Yes. Well, welcome back. We're excited to have you.
I'm super excited to be here, and I want to congratulate all the survivors of this beautiful contest. I am expecting nothing but the best from all contestants. I want to congratulate you all for the energy you have put into this, the researches that you keep making on daily basis. And today, I wish the best, the best. I can't expect anything less.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, the 3 judges, Mr. Michael Niabo Annan, Lawyer Elsie Apau, of course, Jignesh Viradia are our judges today. Well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I'll lead you on to something very exciting. But remember, we have 5 cabinets competing today. The presidents are going to be here sharing with us their manifesto ideas. I'm sure accumulation of every other thing that we've heard from the ministers over the period. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the grand finale of Ghana's Youth President. My name is Kokuluma. We'll take a break. When we come back, I have something exciting for you. Don't go anywhere. This is the grand finale of Ghana's Youth President, and over the weeks we've tried our best to ensure that we listen to debates from ministers across the cabinet, the 5 cabinets. Remember, we've had 5 competitive cabinets. Again, the Gold Coast cabinets, the Republic cabinets, the Democrats, the Osagifo, and the Yaa Asantewaa cabinets. And so we've had them ride on the horses of their manifestos. We've listened to them. You have voted as well, but the judges will score the presidents who are ready. There you go. Again, remember what is at stake. 20,000 project fund for the winner of the Ghana's Youth President, or the first Ghana's Youth President ever on this reality TV show. There's also an 11,000 Ghana cedis cash for the 11 people, of course, the president and the 10 ministers, and other consolation prizes we're going to be giving to the best participating people here on this reality TV show. And that has been the journey. Welcome back to the grand finale. This is where we get to hear from the presidents from the 5 cabinets. If you're ready, ladies and gentlemen, let's take it from Gold Coast Cabinet's Andy Amankwa.
From the Ashanti region and a student of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the presidential candidate for the Gold Coast Cabinet, Andy Amankwa.
Next is the Republic Cabinet's Kweku Denchi Boapia.
Born in Dampong, in the Asante Achim South District of the Ashanti region, he is a third-year student pursuing an undergraduate degree in agribusiness management at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Serving as the youth MP for Asante Achim South constituency, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the presidential candidate for the Republic Cabinet, Kweku Denchi Boapi Osei.
Jonah T. Konembe represents the Democrats' cabinet as their president.
Born in a village called Nabagu, under the Tatale Sanguli constituency in the northern region, he is a Christian and a nurse by profession. Serving as the youth MP for Tatale Sanguli constituency, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the presidential candidate for the Democrat cabinet, Jonah Tagnumtiba Tikonimbe.
And that's Jonah Tekonembe leading, again, Democrats cabinet. They're also here to present their manifesto ideas. They're ready, I can see. But again, let's move on to Osajifo cabinet if you're ready for that. Evans Edem Hockey leads them. Let's welcome them.
Born in Nkoko, a town in the eastern region that comes from Agbakope, a village in the North Town constituency in the Volta region, he is a Christian and a management consultant by profession, and also served as the first deputy speaker of the Youth Leadership Parliament. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the presidential candidate for the Osajifo cabinet, Evans Edem Hockey.
And Evans Edem Hockey is the president of Osajifo cabinet. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the last but not least, Kwesi Raphael Opoku from Ya Santua with his cabinet. Let's welcome them.
Mr. Speaker, panel of judges, distinguished guests of honor, the free and independent media, all protocols duly observed. Expectations for Ghana on the globe is high as we were the first country in the region to reduce poverty by half when the Millennium Development Goals were set. When the tale of sibling countries, Ghana, Malaysia, Singapore, is told, the difference in the success story is not demographic or geographical. The difference is development. This is largely so because of the party colors and colorization in which light we choose to view national development goals and agendas. Madam Speaker, we may run political campaign on the tickets of political parties, but we run national developmental agendas on the tickets of national interests. Gladly, I'm not here to hammer on our misfortunes and bad leadership. I am here to deliver the manifesto that speaks to the issues that concern the Ghanaian people and the nation at heart. The GCC chose to title this manifesto the Ghana for the People Agenda, building national prosperity through sustainable development and economic liberation. Madam Speaker, trickling down to this very moment, three key issues have been on the minds of every Ghanaian: health, education, and energy. This health, education, and energy. This is what we call the HEED policies. These are the three key issues that the GCC will urge every Ghanaian to heed to and vote for me as Ghana's first ever youth president. Madam Speaker, good quality education is said to be the backbone of every country, particularly its young people. As a young person and a student, I couldn't think of a better policy to begin with. Ghana, as a member of the UN, made a bold declaration to leave no one behind in achieving the 17 Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. Needless to say, our problem with education is not pivoted on accessibility and cost alone, but quality and practicality and lifelong learning. We need to change from the robotic answer-driven education to a question and competence-based curriculum. Madam Speaker, there are new emerging realities and skills outlook for a post-COVID era, and we need to align our education to fit required skill sets, as said by the World Economic Forum. Madam Speaker, I present to you a national education reform under the theme Sustainable Education for the Global Arena. This educational reform will have two main thematic areas: mainstream education and education for people with special needs. Focusing on mainstream education, we'll focus on STEAM rather than STEM. We'll focus on competence, skills, and sub-skills rather than content and required syllabus. We'll inculcate agriculture into basic education. With the introduction of formative assessments and academic credit system, the GCC will boycott WAEC as an exam and certificate awarding body. We will build new technical universities in the 6 newly created regions. We will grant more than 80% of inputs requested from my government as compared to the staggering 58%. My administration will cancel all majors that have no bearing on projected skills outlook in the next couple of years in traditional universities and introduce new ones with prospects. It is no news that people with different abilities, Madam Speaker, you realize that I said people with different abilities and not people with disability, because my government believes in ability, even in disability. That these people have been paid little or no attention to, as well as their educational institutions. We'll first increase government funding for such schools to the tune of 5%. We'll provide a one district, one special school initiative. Madam Speaker, our manifesto is not a deficient one. As a good friend of mine will say, we don't promise promises that seeks to be promising just to score political points. We already have existing funds like the GETS Fund, which is an earmarked proportion of VAT, and the annual budget funding amount, which is also an earmarked proportion of oil revenue. Then we have partners and donors like the Millennium Challenge Corporation, the Global Partnership for Education, ActionAid, and etc. That these agencies are already actors in our educational powers. Madam Speaker, COVID-19 has brought a wave that has shaken our fiscal and fiscal health structures. Ghana's healthcare system, as it is contingent on 3 main facets: NHIS, National Health Insurance Scheme, health facilities and health workers, and patients. Madam Speaker, the key to a better healthcare system, a system that is set on preventive and accessible care, is not a sick care system. It's the health of the NHIS. That said, there are some of the policies we will implement. We will increase subscription from the staggering 40% to at least 80%. We will increase the workforce of the NHIA. We will amend the NHIS Act to provide a clear institutional framework. We will, however, fund the education by allocating a percent of budget funding, mid-term and supplementary efforts to some incurring deficits. Madam Speaker, good health and well-being as go-to of the SDGs is dear to my heart. One key figure has been neglected by successive administrations, receiving less than 1% of budget cuts for the health sector. Madam Speaker, we are living in a country of an estimated 30 million people. It is also estimated that about 2.5 million people are living with some form of mental illness. As a government, we will make 10th October of every year a holiday to commemorate the World Mental Health Day, to increase education and awareness. We will remove mental health care from primary care. We will subsequently increase the net funding received to 5% of the entire health budget. Madam Speaker, the energy sector remains the backbone of the economic growth in a developing country like ours. The instability of power and subsequent power crisis prevents foreign investors and companies from setting up businesses in the region. It is no news that a lot of problems have been seen in our energy sector. According to Power Africa, some of the key problematic issues are poor financial health of the energy sector and legacy debts, limited creditworthiness of utilities, excess generation capacity in short term, overcontracting of new plants and high cost of generation, lack of procurement framework. Madam Speaker, this is what we will do in this stead. We will not support government's policy of paying for arrears accumulated by ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs, to the tune of $180 million USD annually, and boycott the installation of new prepaid meters. I argue that in decentralizing our energy solutions, we remove all MDAs and public schools that owe ECG from the national grid and supply them with solar power. These will begin with pilot cases in public populated communities like UHAS, KNUSC, and UDS. The energy solution will cover electricity and gas demand by providing solar, grid, and biomass system to students for free and at a cheaper rate. During that time, the management will use other funds to offset those arrears. Upon successful piloting, we'll focus on MDAs and communities that have the lowest electricity penetration, with much focus on the northern sector. I believe this will birth a growing interest in technological advances in solar energy solutions, whilst driving skills and employment along the northern belt. With financing, we will redirect remaining funds of the Ghana Compact 2 deal to the many of the projects before cancellation, as we repair broken trusts between the government of Ghana and the Millennium Challenge Corporation. We will stop Ghana's nuclear power play that may cost an estimated $9 billion and redirect the energy mix to renewable energy-centered goals. We will continue to use the ESLA bonds to offset our debts as well as our tax revenues. We will look at support from World Bank Group's sponsored program, Self-Help Electrification Program. Apart from finance, we will also look at transparency and improve private sector participation. Madam Speaker, another sector is also the Office of the Special Prosecutor. I believe one of the problems that the OSP office faces is as a result of no formal independence. But according to Article 88, Clause 3 of the Constitution, the Attorney General shall be responsible for the initiation and conduct of all prosecution of criminal offences. All offences prosecuted in the name of the Republic shall be at the suit of the Attorney General or any other person authorized by him in accordance with law. Amendment of the entrenched position in the required steps by requiring 40% of eligible voters to partake in a referendum and 75% of total turnouts for saying yes changes and gives the Office of the Special Prosecutor formal independence. Then after this, we change the mode of appointment and make the Office of the Special Prosecutor an elected office. Madam Speaker, we recognize that we cannot consume all of Ghana's problems in a 10 minutes in the presentation. So, we will leave most of the facets of challenges we face in Ghana to the time when questions will come from the House to be able to address them. Thank you.
Madam Speaker, panel of judges, honorable contestants, honorable members of the House, ladies and gentlemen, and all protocol observed. Good afternoon. I have an unabated quest to promote youth empowerment and to bring to light issues concerning youth development in our dear country that has given me the energy to contest in this year's Youth Presidential Challenge to become Ghana's first youth president. I present to the beloved people of Ghana a clear-cut plan to make our nation a better place, a clear-cut plan to improve upon our standard of living as youth. All the projects, initiatives, and flagship programs I present are going to be achieved through mobilization of the youth and synergy. If our country will make a move to propel development, there is an indispensable need to mobilize the youth and harness the resources for the good of our nation. Madam Speaker, honorable members of the House, here is a genuine cause for expedited development through mobilization and synergy. Finance. All that is there to be achieved cannot be achieved when the finance factor is not given the necessary attention and developed so well so as to make all the project plans and initiatives a reality. Micro and macroeconomic indicators must be good so that the economic growth will be steady. As youth president, I am going to raise funds for project initiatives and programs through fundraising exercises, partnerships with non-governmental based organizations, and sponsorships. My financial principle is precise and concise. Money should be allocated for what money should be used for what they are allocated for, and project feasibility and quality must be on top. And that is what the Republic Cabinet is presenting to the people of Ghana. When this is achieved, we will have full value for our money. Education. Ghana's education system has seen a lot of reforms. The implementation of the free senior high school policy and the temporary double-track system has absorbed the fees of more than 1.2 million Ghanaians. Through senior high school, accessibility of education cannot be underrated, but the quality of education being disseminated and the section of citizens having access to the free senior high school is what my leadership as youth presidents will take up as a major agenda in the education sector. I have termed my education plan Adisuapa Agenda. The Adisuapa Agenda, which is one of my flagship programs, is centered on early child development, STEM education, gender issues, access to educational facilities, student leadership, inclusive education, and the implications of COVID-19 on education. In achieving all of these, progress will be made in the areas of education, and we will take a different part, and the quality of our education and the productivity of students passing through the education system would be assured. Agriculture. The agriculture sector under my leadership will see a lot of progress and participation from the youth front. And notions about agriculture being the profession of the poor and the privileged will be a thing of the past. The Ekwafo Nkosua project, as one of my flagship programs, seeks to promote the well-being of farmers and contribute to the overall production capacity. The well-being of farmers is directly proportional to their production capacity. The Ekwafo Nkosua project will concentrate on structuring insurance schemes and retirement plans for farmers. Through negotiations, strong deliberations, and partnerships with the necessary stakeholders, all these can be achieved. The Minister for Food and Agriculture of the Republic Cabinet and the Republic Cabinet as a whole has come out with the best flagship program to propel the Ministry of Food and Agriculture in attaining greater heights and meeting self-sufficiency in food production. This key flagship program was formulated with the aim of disseminating information to the farmers, educating them, creating a reliable source of funding by contributing towards a pool which will give them the financial muscles to carry out farm operations and increase productivity, which hitherto would have been difficult for them to acquire on a personal level. This initiative is called the Forming of Cooperatives. This initiative is called the Forming of Cooperative Societies to distinguish farmers with respect to the field of production. The agriculture sector will achieve a lot under my leadership. Health. The Republic Cabinet is promising the good people of Ghana and the youth quality, affordable, and accessible health care where the health system really works for the people. My cabinet will set on course an agenda to visit communities that have been neglected and have no access to health facilities and bring their attention to the government to provide them with the necessary health facilities, since it's their right and they form part of the national cake. There are a lot of communities who do not have access to health facilities and a lot of lives being lost that are not even recorded. We are making healthcare accessible to all. Nothing is truly accessible, Madam Speaker. Nothing is truly accessible unless the unprivileged are the beneficiaries. We are not going to only extend health facilities to rural communities. We are going to form partnerships with health-based, non-governmental organizations and support children diagnosed with circulatory diseases. There will also be a launch of an awareness campaign on the 6 killer diseases. Achieving all of these will set us on the path to accelerated development in the health sector, roads and highway. The importance of roads in economic growth cannot be understated. Roads open up more areas and stimulate economic and social development. My tenure as youth president will see a launch of a road sign awareness campaign. A lot of accidents are caused by negligence of road signs, and we are poised on reducing road accidents and ensuring that road users and pedestrians are always safe when they use the roads. Negotiations and partnerships with the Drivers and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA, will make it a reality and bring effective results. Attention on roads that have not been constructed and have slowed down business activities in communities will be brought to the government. It is essential that we have most of the roles in our country completed to boost economic activities, gender, children, and social protection. The Ministry of Gender, Children, and Social Protection seeks to ensure a harmonious society in which the survival and the development of sexes, children, and vulnerable persons with disability are guaranteed. The Republic Cabinet is prepared to do just that. It is imperative that everyone is protected and given equal opportunities to climb up the ladder of progress. My tenure as youth president to make sure that girl child education campaign is further championed. Rural communities especially will benefit from girl child education campaign. A lot of girls will be enrolled in schools and provided with materials to help support academic work. Disabled persons will be supported by providing training to them in various vocations and sources of funding provided through partnerships with social protection, fundamental organizations, and solicitation from support from the government. As youth president, I will see to it that there are more resource centers and facilities provided to facilitate the teaching and learning process for disabled persons. Extension of the feeding program, although there has been a 78% increase in the number of beneficiaries in the school feeding program, more can be achieved. Our country should attain a 100% beneficiary level with school feeding programs so that every child going to school gets food to eat and wouldn't want to have to worry about where his or her next meal will be coming from. These and many will I do for the good people of Ghana as youth president. Sanitation. Ghana has done very little concerning sanitation. A lot of people have died and cases of death are recorded day in, day out due to poor sanitation. As youth president, I will launch a Clean Ghana campaign which will organize the youth and form partnerships with Young Lion Ghana to undertake cleaning exercises regularly. Also, we will go to sensitize the people on the importance of a clean environment across our country. Rural areas and slums will also be given this education. The use of biodegradable materials will be promoted over the use of plastics. Paying attention to sanitation will go in a long way to help us overcome diseases like malaria and cholera. There is more to achieve in the sector of sanitation, and the Republic Cabinet under my leadership is ready to do exactly just that. The Special Prosecutor. The President has a simple objective.
Madam Speaker, distinguished judges, members of Youth Parliament, invited guests, friends of the media, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols duly observed. I'm deeply glad today as my presence here is unusual. My name is Jonathan Winterbat Kwanembe, and the President of the Democrat Cabinet. I grew up in a typical Ghanaian village in Tatali Sanguli constituency in the northern region, where we had only one volunteer untrained teacher handling primaries 1 to 6 at the time of my basic education. The less talk about our roles, the better. Madam Speaker, the feeling of neglect, uncertainties, lack of social amenities, and limited opportunities are some of the many challenges of rural dwellers in Ghana. I empathize with many across Ghana who dwell in the remote areas. The struggle for independence were based on some of these challenges I listed, and therefore, knowing that generations after them, our forefathers have failed to consolidate and jealously protect the purpose and expectations of the struggle for independence. 60 years after independence, 63 years after independence, many Ghanaians, especially you and I, can justify that it makes no sense for the fight for independence because our total road network is only 23% of it that is paved. No wonder Tatali Yendi Road still remain unpaved. Madam Speaker, because of these, people still go to school under trees. People travel far distance to access healthcare, people still suffer unemployment, there is inequality, poor sanitation, and the rest. Madam Speaker, corruption, unemployment, mismanagement, injustice, nepotism, state capture, and the rest of the activities that retard the progress of this country renders our independence purposeless. However, I'm an optimist and a realist, Madam Speaker. Therefore, like Nehemiah, I come with hope to rebuild the broken walls of Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana and to build a country that considers the welfare of all citizens. It's a country where everyone is equal with equal opportunities, no matter your location. It is therefore imperative, Madam Speaker, that we stage another struggle for independence, but this time against inequality, corruption, unemployment, and many challenges confronting us. As a result, Madam Speaker, in order to save this country from the challenges confronting us, the Democrat cabinet would come with far-reaching, people-centric policies that come with shared benefit for every Ghanaian. The Democrat cabinet, in pursuing the Ghana agenda to save Ghana from over-dependence on imported goods, especially in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic and the emergence of African Continental Free Trade Area, our manifesto is centered on industrialization. The Democrat cabinet will pursue industrialization through 4 thematic areas, which include good governance, diversified economy, quality human resource, and inclusive and sustainable development. Madam Speaker, speaking about our financial health, we are in distress because of the nature of our debt rate, because of the nature or the level of investment in our capital expenditure, because of corruption. Madam Speaker, therefore, we will serve as a government that will prevent all of these challenges, to close the loopholes in order to raise the revenue mobilization level of our country. Therefore, we will generate, or we will ensure, efficient generation of revenue, prudent spending, and effective usage of borrowed funds. Madam Speaker, we will increase capital expenditure of 8% of the GDP, far above 3% of the current government. We will also invest borrowed money into projects that can fund or raise revenue to pay for itself through contracting our own Ghanaian contractors. We would also build a strong domestic capital to serve the small and medium enterprises. We will build and sustain a resilient and strong financial sector dominated by Ghanaians. Madam Speaker, we will ensure that we have tax exemptions for machineries of agriculture, commercial vehicles, for the purpose of industrialization and jobs. Madam Speaker, corruption is an issue we are all challenged with. Therefore, we need to understand that corruption must be spoken about even in our homes, in our bedrooms, where public knowledge will raise for us to stand against this canker. We will therefore give you statistics, intriguing figures that corruption take away from us as a country, that retard our progress. CDD came out with a figure of 9.6 billion Ghana cedis that we lose to corruption. And in distributing these funds to developmental projects in our country, for example, the Commander Sugar Factory, which cost us $39 million, and the Cocoa Processing Center, which the Cocoa Board is in the process to build, cost us $100 million. So calculating these figures and distributing 9.6 billion Ghana cedis into developing manufacturing industries or factories, we will be able to establish more than 100 factories in our country in a year if we are able to win war against corruption. Therefore, we will stand the chance of discovering a new source of sustainable funds. Madam Speaker, health is very relevant when it comes to industrialization. Therefore, we will collaborate with the Sanitation Ministry to fight against diseases that constitute 70% of preventive diseases. We will also ensure great and strong financing when it comes to our health system. Therefore, we will stipulate 3 billion Ghana cedis health fund annually with a quota from the national budget. Madam Speaker, we would also form synergies with corporate institutions to invest in health infrastructure as part of their corporate social responsibilities. We will distribute fairly medical officers across all corners of this country to ensure quality health access. Madam Speaker, we will also ensure training of health personnel where their professional development will be subsidized. For example, the medical officers have a subsidy when it comes to development of their professional studies, where it is free for them to increase upon their level of professionalism. Energy cannot be left out when it comes to industrialization. Therefore, using the gold model, the Democrat cabinet will float 50% of shares from the Tema Oil Refinery to the public through the Ghana Stock Exchange in order for us to raise the capital efficiency and to ensure transparency, efficiency, and productivity when it comes to the Tema Oil Refinery. This will help us prevent the importation of petroleum products, and in order to make the crude oil exploration that is ongoing in our country beneficial to every citizen in this country. We would also ensure the springing up of mini hydro plants across the country to ensure the reduction in electricity tariff. Madam Speaker, education is very key when it comes to industrialization. That is why we have the appetite for quality human resource. Therefore, we will build a system that will ensure quality access, quality education, and affordability. Madam Speaker, free SHS is ongoing, but we need to tackle the basic education and that of the tertiary education to ensure that we meet the demand of our industrialization drive, where people will be, or education will be centered on skill-based education instead of the grammar-based. Therefore, we will introduce the art and craft competition, where students will be given the opportunity to showcase their innovative and creativities to achieve their potentials for the industrialization drive. Madam Speaker, Ministry of Agri serves as the basket of our industrialization. We cannot build factories where we do not have raw materials. Therefore, we will ensure a very strong development when it comes to agriculture, where we can raise the contribution of its GDP share to about 40% in our country. Madam Speaker, therefore, we will ensure the establishment of warehouses that would reduce post-harvest losses. We would also ensure the establishment of agricultural university, where personnel will be trained or will be churned out to train our Ghanaian farmers on modernization and mechanization. We would also ensure processing of our products, crops, when it comes to cocoa beans, rice, and other farm crops, to ensure value addition before exportation for jobs and reduction of importation. Madam Speaker, we would also ensure that the road ministry is robust when it comes to their financing, so that we will ensure quality access to industrialization of our country.
Madam Speaker, panel of judges, honorable members of parliament, all protocols duly observed. I will begin our manifesto explanation with the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning. Madam Speaker, averagely a small business owner in Ghana needs a maximum of 2,500 Ghana cedis to start a business. The system makes it so difficult for small businesses to survive within the just first year of its establishment, and also small and medium enterprises employs almost half of the national workforce. Why shouldn't we support them? Your Sajefo cabinet has a plan to help small businesses grow and create stronger job growth by unshackling the SME sector. We will unleash the potential of small businesses to grow and create more jobs, lowering taxes and reducing business costs by introducing grant schemes with effective monitoring structures. Madam Speaker, my cabinet will break tenders in small contracts to allow small companies to compete and receive the jobs to allow bigger participation. Madam Speaker, panel of judges, tax relief alone to political companies and friends cost the nation over 900 million Ghana cedis annually. Money that can be used to augment the free SHS policy. Our cabinet will cut off the practice marginally and practice what we call responsible capitalism, a system that will improve the private sector growth through an improved business environment schemes and ensure the private sector not only pay taxes but also exercise their corporate social responsibility to increase infrastructural development. Additionally, a youth venture capital fund of 2.2% allocation from the national revenue annually will be allocated to help youth with bankable projects to receive funding, mentoring, and coaching without being asked any collateral. Madam Speaker, this policy will be deliberate. Madam Speaker, we are the youth and the future of our nation. Hence, we require specific attention to enhance the financial growth of our country. Unfortunately, our youth are wasting away in abject poverty and graduate unemployment. We will enhance youth-specific affirmative action on government procurement to 25% to mainstream the participation of youth-run businesses in economic development. Madam Speaker, we will live within our means and on sustainable basis. We will get spending down by fixing the overlap between various government programs and reducing the size of the bloated civil service with emphasis on natural attrition. Madam Speaker, we would again live within our means and on sustainable basis. Our cabinet will run a more efficient and a lean government to control government expenditure. We would establish a national audit to identify savings and efficiencies in areas of government so that we reduce government debt and start delivering a better value for money and sustainable budget surpluses in the future. Finally, Madam Speaker, our Sajefo cabinet will establish a one-base saving and efficiency grant schemes given to small and medium-scale enterprises for them to deliver efficiency in their world of work. Education is one of the things that we cannot overlook, but our mantra is also education that drives growth. Madam Speaker, education is the most powerful tool for the advancement of the nation and the most potent weapon to fight poverty. Our cabinet will make sure and introduce a policy known as Girl for School, GFS. Our girls shall be provided all possible help to continue and complete their education. Madam Speaker, the Ghana Statistical Service has revealed that the cost of pursuing a technical course in tertiary is 60% more expensive than the social sciences. Hence, the populated regimes in our white-collar jobs. Your Sajefo cabinet will introduce the free ESU work and self-education model for tertiary education in Ghana. This will allow technical education in the tertiary completely free, with a mandatory option to work for government agencies after completion for 3 years, and thereafter gain funding opportunities to set up. We believe this policy will drive the growth of industrialization that our country have been crying for. In partnership with the private sector, Madam Speaker, we will provide every going child with a solar laptop to ensure IT competitiveness. This will be a deliberate strategy to motivate other children to go to school, which will turn in to reduce streetism. Madam Speaker, the world is a global village, and as such, our children must be abreast with the global trends in education. and your Osajefo cabinet will initiate a multi-country student exchange program for broadening the horizon of school-going children with 50-50 approach to sponsorship. Madam Speaker, your health is your wealth. And so I will continue with the health sector. We will provide a clear mandate and universal health care that is not only accessible and affordable, but also effective. We would increase the number of medical and paramedical colleges to make Ghana self-sufficient in human resources in the health sector. Madam Speaker, our cabinet will move to preemptive care model where the focus and thrust will be on child health and prevention because they are treasure of our nation. A partnership with the private sector will help us to introduce the Mobility Innovation Project, the MIP. The policy will ensure that mini ambulances are designed to suit the rural areas of our country where access to health care is so difficult. Madam Speaker, we will leverage with the PPP to utilize the platform of mobile phones of healthcare delivery and set up the National e-Health Authority to leverage telemedicine and mobile healthcare for expanding reach and coverage. Madam Speaker, I will not end with the Zongo Community Ministry. We will roll a massive low-cost housing programs. Madam Speaker, it will be an innovatively designed scheme that dovetails various existing programs and encourages the housing sector. Madam Speaker, our cabinet will also introduce a FIERA. This policy would have the plan to assist each member of our communities to pay for their rent through a loan scheme. The policy will track the citizens with the code from the national ID to ensure the loans are paid back as agreed. A nationwide dispute and conflict resolution authority will be established in our Zongos to set up and manage conflict and rental issues accordingly. Madam Speaker, the special prosecutor is my last point of call. Today, people of this country are frustrated with the present system. And we will introduce what we call create a fund and modernize the court system to improve and connect the special prosecutor to liaise and solve untenable problems. With these, the Osajefo cabinet believe these policies will transform our nation into a desired glorious future. Thank you so much.
Madam Speaker, panel of judges, colleague ministers, friends, media, all protocols duly observed. Madam Speaker, the goals, values, and ideologies of the legendary Yaa Asantewaa, of whom our cabinet is honored to be named after, are the ones that focus on securing the independence, dignity, and pride of the Ashanti Kingdom, whom she led to war against the then colonial rulers in defense of these principles. As a cabinet, we are poised, determined to secure the financial independence of our nation, improve our international respect, and regain the hold over our dignity as pride of Africa. Madam Speaker, as an anti-apartheid activist called Steve Biko once said, we as a cabinet believe that it is better to die for an idea that will live than to live for an idea that will die. This strong belief within our cabinet is what gave my fellow honorable ministers the unwavering motivation to deliver in previous episodes their policies of their various ministries. Their ideas are not just mere words, but a reflection of the values that come together to form the core anchor within our cabinet, and we are poised to deliver on them. Madam Speaker, as a cabinet, our paramount goal is to ensure critical and in-depth planning, effective execution across all ministries in the country. This is very key to our endeavor because our country has never lacked ideas. What we have always lacked is deliberate planning and effective execution. And this is an approach which will lead to the realization of tangible political, social, and most importantly, microeconomic impact in the lives of the people. Madam Speaker, it is now my honor to go ahead and unveil our plans for the various ministries in this country, and in doing so, explain how impacting these plans will be. Madam Speaker, let me start with the health ministry. Aside our long-standing belief that healthcare is a fundamental human right, it is also a very crucial component that drives economic growth. Several credible research and academic studies show that poor levels of healthcare within a state reduces productivity and in turn reduces economic growth. To avoid this, we will increase investment to improve healthcare conditions. How are we going to do this? By strengthening public health programs, building new facilities, and upgrading already existing facilities, while also promoting immunization programs to reduce infant and under 5 mortality rates that rob this nation of potential energetic youth that will grow the economy. 2, we will ensure a reduction in healthcare costs abroad by having a strategic policy agreement with pharmaceutical corporations and other major stakeholders within the health sectors to reduce drug prices and increase access. We will boost the interest of the youth in pursuing health-related professions. We will lead our nation through this COVID pandemic by consulting experts in scientific fields before we put out any comprehensive public policy to the nation. My cabinet is going to plan to work towards achieving a realistic health access, doctor-to-patient ratio in order to boost our healthcare system in all regions and local communities. On energy, Madam Speaker, just as the spine of every human functions as a very crucial part in the functioning of all other body parts, so is our energy sector function to the functioning of the entire country. Madam Speaker, our nation has lost an average of 2.1 million work productivity every day over the decade due to lack of good policies that drive in sustaining our energy. Madam Speaker, to deal with this, we will invest in our energy sector and adapt sustainable energy resources such as solar power. We will fix solar panels for very tall buildings and in temperate zones. We will establish an anti-corruption task force to investigate teams that will prosecute anyone involved smuggling other corrupted related activities that harm the economy. We will build upon our human capital in the energy sector. On the Ministry of Roads and Highways, Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Roads and Highways exists to evaluate, improve road infrastructure development and maintenance in the country. Currently, Ghana has received a radical facelift, and on this we stand improved. Madam Speaker, currently, one problem this ministry is facing is long traffic queues just to pay tolls at the various toll centers. We will introduce an active radio frequency identification transponder with a unique signature to each driver using our road. This database will be acquired from the DVL. Sensors will be installed at road centers and exit. These sensors will store the time, distance data of drivers, which will be used to calculate the rate and bill drivers. Drivers will use mobile money platforms and credit carding system to pay for these bills. We will convert all major high-rate roads to double carriageway with full road signs and effective street light system together with the Energy Ministry. Together with the Energy Ministry, we will see to it that all these members of the team undergo an intensive training exercise to acquire the necessary experience to save lives on our road. On energy, Madam Speaker, quality education is very paramount regarding acquisition of knowledge, values, skills, and morals. There is the need to improve adequate learning facilities to foster and improve on human capital. On the need to equip ourselves with some basic knowledge, there will be a compulsory TVET education in all secondary schools. There will be proper take-home benefits for teachers at all levels. On the job training will be conducted for the same teachers. There will be provision of MMDAs, ultramodern science labs, and practical learning centers at the moment and later expand them to our various schools. On sanitation ministry, Madam Speaker, sanitation still remains one of the biggest issues we have in this country. Even though it costs us about 1.6%, that's 420 million cedis each year, it is still predominant that poor sanitation is one of the fundamental causes of the public health crisis in this country. We will establish more of the integrated recycling and compost plants across all 16 regions and expand them to the district level with time. Madam Speaker, we will see to it that the sustainable rural water and sanitation projects are undertaken in societies that really need them. We will construct modern 500 toilet facilities and ensure adequate maintenance on them over time to make this accessible. On Zongo, Madam Speaker, our vision is to create a sustainable, developed communities which will make life easy and accessible for people in the inner cities and Zongo communities with equal opportunity as Ghanaians have. This ministry was created in response to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 11 that is making cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. So this is what we are going to do. We are going to collaborate with the existing national programs that offer apprenticeship and business opportunities to equip young people within these communities. We will establish a top-up startup fund, an initiative by the Yasantua Cabinet that will aid the youth after training them to enable them to start their own businesses. We will also establish special economic zones in specific Zongo areas that grant companies that move their tax exemptions. We will also establish educational incentives which will enhance their interest in the education forms and also develop...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. A round of applause for all of them. That was 50 minutes of thrilling and exciting and riveting points from our presidents who were gunning to become the very first ever. How interesting was that for you at home? Of course, here there are judges that will score after asking questions. But here we need to respect protocol, and in the House we would allow both sides, the majority and the minority, to ask them questions. Remember, we still have 20,000 project fund at stake. There's also an 11,000 Ghana cedis for grabs as well, and other consolation prizes later when we bring all of that to you at the dinner and awards night. But of course, let me just jump straight into the questions. Let me start off with the majority side. First question, let's start off with Andy Amankwa of Gold Coast Cabinet. If you're ready, please take it away.
Right Honorable Speaker, I rise to the name Richard Aite, Honorable Member for Gomoa Central Constituency. Thank you for the opportunity. Now, I want to find out from the presidential candidate for the Gold Coast Cabinet that if he is given the mandate, how does he intend to ensure that most of our lessons in the curriculum he's trying to bring on board reforms or transform and then solve the problem practically instead of theoretically. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member from Gomoa. As I stated clearly in my policies, we need to move from exam-based to competence-based. Now, the reform you are talking about happened last year by the NCCA. A reform is supposed to happen in the education sector every 5 years. But then, for the curriculum for kindergarten, which we had in 2006, there hasn't been any reform for that until recently. And I know that the country has taken pains to go through, but as you rightly said, this reform didn't clearly tackle the issues, as we still have the problem of exam-based questions. Now, what I seek to do is remove this curriculum from a summative assessment, that is the end of term assessment, and replace it with formative assessment and classroom building, as well as inculcating competencies, the 7 pillars of competence-based education into the education curriculum.
All right, thank you very much. And that's from the majority side. Let's now take questions from the minority side. Let's keep it short and precise, indeed.
Madam Speaker, as a caucus leader, it is only natural that I will lead in the questioning. I think the Gold Coast Cabinet President made mention of the fact that they are going to come out with a policy to help girls. So I want to know that from the President, that why is it girls being targeted? Because equally, guys are also being marginalized when it comes to education, even at some part of the country. So why is the focus centers on girls?
All right, let's do that quickly.
Well, clearly, I think, Honourable Member, I think there is a mishap here. The policy didn't come from me, but from the Osageko cabinet. And I believe that being marginalized, girls are being marginalized. And with that, I have a policy on girl-child education respective to the Ministry for Gender and Social Protection Agency, in the sense that to stop the rural-urban migration of girls from the northern sector, we have to look at introducing the technical education, as I talked about, technical advances in the northern belt, in our quest to promote our energy-centered goals in the region. And we believe that giving girls the requisite skills will prevent them from traveling from the northern belt to the southern belt, which causes overpopulation, and then the sparsely dense population, which will not improve on our goals in the northern belt.
I see. And that's what the majority and minority thinks. We'll see what the judges think when we get to them later. Now, let's do the minority. Let's take it to Kweku Denchibwapia, Republic Cabinet. If you're ready, let's do that quickly.
So, once again, thank you so much. Caucus members, I will come to you. I think, Madam Speaker, the Honourable Mr. President of the Republic Cabinet made mention of the fact that they are going to liaise with the DVLA authority to advocate for road signs. So, there is a house of record, and per the statute of the DVLA, they are not mandated to do that. Actually, the Road Safety Commission, they are in charge. So I think that is misinformation on the part of Mr. President of the Republic Cabinet. But Madam Speaker, you also bear with me that an effective road network system reduces comparative distance between trading partners, thereby increasing rates of returns on existing investment. But in their policy document, they made mention of the fact that attention on roads that have been constructed and have slowed down businesses. So I want to find out from Mr. President, how will a constructed road slow down business in this trade?
First, I want to, Honourable Gabriel Tachwe, I want to first answer your question with you thinking that I misconstrued my words. Of course, in the manifesto handout you had, there was a typo error. But when I was speaking, you should have listened. So I talked about the construction, I talked about roads that are not being, which are not constructed, slowing down economic activities. I saw it here, but I made the correction in my speaking. And then we're also talking about the partnership with DVLA, saying they are not commissioned to do road signs. I didn't talk about road signs. I also talked about reducing road accidents. I think that the DVLA also has a part to play in ensuring that road accidents are at a minimal level.
I see. All right, thank you. And that's for Kweku Denchibwapia, Republic Cabinet. Let's now move to Democrats Cabinet, Jonathan Konembe. I think I'll take that question if you want to. Majority is over to you.
Since independence, it has been clear that every government borrows. And you said that in your manifesto that you are not going to borrow. And I want you to tell me the plans that you have concerning these two things called property rates and students rates. Because these rates are monies that personally I have done research on it and government is taking it for granted. So I would love to know your policy on this kind of rate since you decide not to borrow. Thank you.
All right. I think, point of correction, I did not say I will not borrow. Point of correction.
So you borrow.
Madam Speaker, I mentioned that the level of our debt is scary, and for that matter, we need to employ measures that will make good use of the monies that we borrow. And so I alluded to the fact that we will invest borrowed money into projects that will generate revenue for itself and pay off the loans that we borrow. With regards to the property rate and stool rate that you added yourself, Madam Speaker, we understand that the challenge of property rate in this country is the larger population we have in this country. And so we have a policy where we will segment. For instance, West Wagon, we have electoral areas where we have assemblymen and unit committees manning these electoral areas. So we will segment the constituency into electoral areas where each assembly member or agents of property tax will be allocated to take charge of activities when it comes to property rate.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm looking for a day where President stamps his authority and says, I will not borrow. This is not today. Well, let's take it from minority. And yes.
His Excellency Yona, how do you intend to tackle corruption in likes of, or in the field of soul sourcing? What are the measures you're going to put in place to tackle this system? Because the major corruption scandals that happen in this nation has to do with soul sourcing.
I see.
So how do you intend to? I'm Christian Zokoli, MP for Buim Constituency, Uti region. Thank you.
The issue of corruption. We have many agencies that are in charge of fighting corruption in this country, including SHRAJ, IOCO, the BNI, which is now the NIB, and that of the special prosecutor. And so in our quest to fight corruption, we would decentralize the OSP into all regions in order for us to have an overview of whatever happened across the country. So decentralization of the Office of the Special Prosecutor will be the best way to fight corruption.
So let's now move quickly to Evans Adam Hockey of Osage for Cabinet. Majority of you already, your question.
I want to first of all make a quick correction with respect to Ghana's debt. While the President was speaking, he did mention that it was at 236, but it's actually 263. So let's get that. Again, you talked about something that really struck me while you were presenting about distributing solar laptops to students. And you didn't tell us how that was going to be done, whether it was going to be through partnership, how the funding is going to come from, and what the education sector stands to benefit. Thank you very much.
Let's take it away.
In our quest to bridge the gap between excellence in education, it is important for every child to have access to IT. And it is also important to let them be aware that we can benefit for the excess sunshine that we have. Our clear-cut plan is to introduce reusable energy into our educational system in terms of our power management. And that is exactly the reason why we want to go into the policy of rebuilding solar laptops, so that even if they are in unreachable areas in our environment, they can still be accessible, access IT technology. And that is the reason why we are introducing that. I hope your question has been answered.
I see. All right, and that's that for the majority to Mr. Hockey. Minority, if you're ready, please take it away.
I represent the Democrats Cabinet as Education Minister. I think you raised very good points. Now, in Ghana, there have always been good ideas, but something is always dragging those good ideas back. And that is a certain mentality, which shows that Ghana is not always first. The mentality that shows that parties are first, tribes are first, families are first, and our pockets are first. Now, I would want you to tell me what you will do to change this mentality. What you will do to make the Ghana first mentality come into force and into being. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question. Indeed, the mantra for the Osajefo cabinet is change and continuity. And so, in our bid to continue the change and make Ghana first, in fact, I made a statement in my manifesto that says that we would live within our means. It is a language that we want to use and sermonate for people to understand that Ghana is first. What we need to do is to double up our education on the need to sustain our resources for our unborn generation. Cutting off corners to make sure our families come first has always a very negative consequences. And I think we have stopped mentioning the consequences rather than talking about what it will do for us. We need to embrace that culture of education all the time across the country. And we said that we are going to send to every bit of this country an educational reform that will engage our citizens to think that Ghana is always first.
Yes, Santua Cabinet. Kwesi Raphael Opoku is ready for the questions from majority. If you're ready, quickly.
Food and Agric Minister for the Osajefo Cabinet. My question is, with regards to the president for the Yasantua Cabinet, he didn't say anything with regards to how best he will be able to improve on the agriculture sector, because at this point in time, statistics shows that the average age of a farmer currently is 55. So I want to know the strategic plans that he has if in case the youth are not involved in agriculture.
I see.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. I had great plans on the agriculture, but because of time, we couldn't get there. This is what we are going to do. We will first start with the youth in agric policy. To achieve this, there will be more posting of the national service personnel into the agricultural sector to boost the interest yearly and also equip the youth in some basic skill. And also, we are going to make the sector more lucrative. How are we going to do this? We are going to bring in more partnership with the Ministry of Roads to construct roads to these farm sectors that we have in this country, right? And we are also going to give much incentives to new farmers. So when you get in the agricultural industry and you're a new farmer, we will give you tax incentives, right? And also, when you get there, because always with the farming, you can never predict that when you plant a seed here, it is going to germinate. So your first year, we are going to make sure that we give you money to start this process, right?
Right. Okay, so let's do the minority.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My question goes to the Yasantua president. At the time, Yasantua fought for freedom, but today Ghana is not about freedom, but it's about corruption and poverty. So I want to know your clear cuts or your plan of solving corruption.
Thank you, colleague minister. To prevent corruption, we are going to use the Ministry of the Special Prosecutor. What are we going to do? Corruption, my cabinet will ensure that there will be a corruption risks assessment agency, whereby all projects that will start in this country should pass through them. And after the project is even done, you have to get a clearance from the Office of the Special Prosecutor in partnership with the Attorney General and all the stakeholders involved. And this is going to reduce corruption.
All right, thank you very much. And those are questions and responses from both the majority and minority to our president. And now, with the permission of the Speaker of Parliament, let me now go to the judges. We've been sitting for so long, we've been asking the question, how have we gotten it? Let me start off with any of you. What do you make of them? Probably let's take questions now, starting from Gold Coast Cabinet. Okay, I see Lawyer Osiapa starting.
You all look very awesome. and great presentations to start with. I'm really proud of you. It means that the many weeks of grooming has yielded some results. I have 2 questions, and all these questions goes to all of you as presidents. 1, in all the presentations I've heard about how you are taking the curative approach to healthcare delivery in Ghana, I think otherwise. How can we also use the preventive model of granting healthcare access to our people? So in less than a minute, I want response from each of you on this.
All right, let's start with the Gold Coast, since you've been waiting.
Okay, for the preventive measures, I think one of the key reasons why the National Health Insurance Scheme was established is for it to be preventive and not curative. And so to do that, what we need to do is reform the scheme as it is. That is why one of the first things I touched on in the health sector was the National Health Insurance Scheme. And it's been bedeviled by a lot of problems and challenges. One of it being...
First of all, what's your understanding of preventive healthcare access?
So if it's preventive, then people should be able to access and turn out to the hospitals should be more on an upscale than on a downscale, even when people are not sick. So people go there because when they are not going to pay anything for that care, when there is any feeling of illness, they tend to visit those hospitals because that access is free. So it's preventive in that regard.
Really?
Great. So the preventive healthcare deals with the prevention of illnesses to decrease the burden on our healthcare sectors. And so we will not wait for someone to get sick, but we need to prevent the person from getting sick.
Madam Speaker, preventive health system is the effective way of strengthening our health system. And so we recognize that the district health management teams will be our anchor when it comes to public health system development. And so we will resource these district health management teams to be viable enough to conduct health screening, to conduct health sensitization, health immunization, and the components that they are mandated to do.
For the preventive health systems, I said in my manifesto that my cabinet is going to launch an awareness campaign on the 6 killer diseases. This is an initiative of a preventive health system where we are going to educate them on the need to immunize against these 6 killer diseases and all of that, polio, and then other diseases that have taken the lives of the people in our country. Also, we can't have a preventive health system when rural communities do not have access to health facilities. Which people are going to do the dissemination of the information? Which people are going to take care of the people and ensure good health in these rural communities?
We thank God there's a novel policy, and you are not getting it anywhere but from the Yasantua. We are going to have a policy where we will partner with the Ministry of Road so that we will have a quick response services along our highways, which will comprise of the paramedics, that is the National Ambulance, the Fire Service, the Police Service, and a mini accident agency center, right? This is going to be done in such a way that in between every 20-kilometer range, you will have these centers there. Because studies have proven beyond reasonable doubt that Ghana wouldn't have lost most of its car accident victims if they have gotten an immediate assistance from these experts, right?
All right.
I agree with the principal judge that I think the initial presentation by all of the presidents was well done. They scored high on that. But let's get down to the content.
Right.
What I would do is to question each presidential candidate according to his own pronouncement. Now, I will start from Yasantua.
Right.
Yes, Steve Biko said that. And he died for what he believed, right? And what he believed lived on. But today, we can't say that was successful. You made a linkage between health and sanitation. And I thought that was very good. But you said nothing to justify why that linkage was necessary. Now, I want to hear why the linkage.
The issue of sanitation and health, COVID has proven to us that sanitation is very vital in our well-being. Now, we deal with what? Cleanliness. That's why we don't even hear people suffering from cholera and all these sicknesses that used to be rampant in the society. So this clearly shows that cleanliness will help us have good health. So we are going to help with the policy that within a month there will be a national sanitation day whereby all these ministries will involved and those who they are working with will go into all these regions to have a cleanup exercise. And with this, Ghana will have strong people and healthy people contributing to the economy.
I would move on to Osajifo. You said there is no fairness in our taxes. What is the definition of fair taxes?
Thank you very much. Fair taxes basically means that what you earn is what you pay on. Usually in Ghana, we look out for huge companies who have the capacity to pay on their returns. And so it is important for us to break down and make sure that small companies who are coming up are visible to pay their returns on the taxes. And that is very important. If you have engaged the tax offices, they will tell you what they require of a small company in terms of their payment of taxes. And that is where our government will look out for. Fair taxes for what is expected of all companies who have been set up to pay them. And that is where we are looking for.
Democrats, you mentioned of the establishment of property taxes. I think that is achievable if we can do a proper valuation of properties. But you did not address that. Then the second issue is you mentioned smart borrowing. What is the definition of smart borrowing? I want to know what is smart borrowing. I think there is nothing like smart borrowing.
Thank you, Honorable Judge. Madam Speaker, I mentioned that the property tax, in order to conduct an efficient evaluation, we will segment our district into electoral areas, where we will designate the assembly members in these electoral areas to lead the capturing of data of their electoral areas. In that case, when we are able to generate this data, we will be able to conduct a proper and efficient evaluation to know our stand when it comes to property tax collection. In the issue of smart borrowing, we have a system where, for instance, MMDAs are not allowed to borrow in the capital market. And so, in order for us to expand the industrialization policy, we will allow them to borrow with a strict monitoring by the Auditor General's Department, where projects will be made available publicly to know the reasons upon which each MMDA is borrowing what particular amount of money. And it will be monitored as well. Thank you.
And that's the definition of smart borrowing.
Republic. You mentioned infrastructure development being feasible. What do you consider as feasible in terms of development?
Now, a project is feasible when the circumstances that will prevent the project from being a reality are tackled. Now, when we have a proper source of funding, when we analyze what goes into the construction of the building, the road, the school, whatever it is, and then we can raise money which won't lead into future indebtedness. And we will also have the necessary human resource capacity needed to carry out that project. The project is feasible.
Gold Coast. I think when it comes to the presentation on health, you were the only person who mentioned about mental health, which I think was a very good one. But what are the issues there, and what do you seek to really address in terms of mental health care?
Thank you very much. When it comes to mental illness, there are three psychiatric hospitals currently in Ghana. 2 of them based in Accra, 1 in the central region. And there are only 123 outpatient facilities. And then 5 of the health teaching hospitals in Ghana are doing outpatient facilities on a small scale, which serves about only 1% of the total population. And looking at the numbers and growing awareness of mental health, I think its budget cut is not enough to facilitate. That is why I propose that within my government, we will increase funding, which is less than 1% to the tune of 5%, because the mental health of the Ghanaian people affects our economy and our productivity as it is.
All right, you've been timed out. Is there any other thing? All right, you tied all of them in. Okay, Mr. Jignesh Viradia.
First of all, I would like to congratulate all the cabinets for the impressive statements, precise policies, and the vision that we all wish to see in the leaders of the future. I think the entire journey of the Youth Leadership Parliament has transformed the young minds into promising and passionate leaders, which is worth commendable. And I think we should all give a big round of applause to all the cabinets for this remarkable performance. Starting with Santwa cabinet, small remarks regarding the unique transformation policy on health that you were trying to emphasize in terms of gaining all the attention. I think we have ambulances in each and every region already positioned, which needs to be, how you can improvise those facilities, which should be thought upon. So I think some new approach has to be thought and earned in terms of the cabinet. Coming to the second person in the row, the policy on the solar laptops is quite promising, but I feel that it is more bullish. We have more than 11 million students. Considering $100 a laptop, will go to a debt of $1.2 billion to the country, which I think shouldn't be emphasized only on those ideas and criteria, but could be transformed into better, say, sanitation and water facility for the schools and the hostel facilities. That would be my suggestion. Coming to the third gentleman, the $9 billion debt. I think the transforming $9 billion debts into US dollars, it will come around 1.5 billion. And considering the second quarter of 2020, we are still standing at $2.4 billion debt, which needs to be transformed into, as you rightly said, industrialization and transforming revenue generating models to the entire industry. The fourth gentleman, regarding the education, what I was looking for is to see how we can bring new protocols and introduce the new normal for the education system. which I didn't find any of the policies looking around this global burning issue where people are dying. Well, brother is not able to show his love to another brother in terms of the normal living. A friend is not able to handshake. Family is always cautious about how the student would go to school and not get COVID. So I was looking for more policies and reforms in terms of the new education system, what could really impact on the entire economy.
Okay.
Coming to the last gentleman, well, again, I was looking for, apart from all the policies, framework, statements, quite impressive, quite to the point. The only thing, again, as I said, that what was missing was the current COVID-19 protocol and the ripple effect that it would bring on the entire economy, and what are the steps that we would take in terms of maintaining those.
All right.
Coming to crux of the whole situation, you all were fabulous. Good luck.
Good luck. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause. A round of applause, please. Mr. Mike Ani, Yabo Anan, Lawyer Elsie Apau, Mr. Jignesh Viradia, all of you, thank you very much for staying with us all through from the very first episode till the grand finale. Well, the authority of the House will get to take her remarks even before we do our very final closing remarks here on the edition of the grand finale. If you're ready, let's now go to Right Honorable Queen Boressa.
Thank you very much. I think it's been an exciting journey of intellectual debates from young parliamentarians. And yes, indeed, I am convinced, and I believe you're also convinced, that indeed the youth of Ghana, here gathered and beyond, are capable to drive the development agenda that we all seek, and to make Ghana the gateway truly to Africa. We had policies like one district, one special school project, compulsory TVET education, GFS, Girls for School, and then formal independence of the special prosecutor, and a whole lot. I am very positive that indeed if the youth of this country are given the right opportunities in a conducive environment, they can steer the affairs of Mother Ghana. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Right Honorable Queen Boressa. And let's now allow our president to take their seats now. Please, a round of applause once again for all of them. Pile all their marks, which of course we're going to use to award the very first ever Ghana's Youth President and all the deserving ministers at the awards and dinner nights that we'll bring to you pretty soon on your screens as well. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how we officially draw curtains on season 1 of Ghana's Youth President. I'm truly excited to be a host. It's been so exciting, riveting, and I can assure you there is future for the country. We want you to go to our website, www.ylpghana.org, and sign up now, because we cannot wait to have you join us on season 2 of Ghana's Youth President. It's been an exciting journey. We're going to see you at the awards and dinner night that is going to be taking place, and that is where we'll announce and award all the deserving ministers and of course first ever Ghana's Youth President. My name is Kokulumo, and I'm going to remain Kokulumo. Until then, I'll see you. This has been Ghana's Youth President. We'll see you soon. A round of applause to all of you.
Patriotic youth of our motherland. This is how determined you are to give Ghana the greatest leadership ever seen.
We have the awards in two categories or segments. We're going to be awarding various personalities from various endeavors who are doing so well. Because of COVID-19, most of them were not able to be here, and so we did so by presenting the awards to them in their offices and in their houses. But the most important ones are going to be presented here. And also is the Ghana's Youth President reality TV show. All those who came out successful, the best ministers, and the first ever Ghana's Youth President will be awarded right here in the full glare of the public. And so we're truly, truly grateful that we could have all of you join us. Well, now, ladies and gentlemen, for the education ministry, I'll welcome Pastor Elvis from the Christ Oasis Church to do the presentation. Let's welcome Pastor Elvis from the Christ Oasis Church to do the presentation, please. And then let's welcome the judge, one of the judges, Lawyer Elsie Apau, to do the presentation for us. Let's put our hands together for her.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to all the contestants. But for the purpose of this evening, the Education Minister's Award goes to Mr. Ouattara Yahaya of the Gold Coast Cabinet. Shall we give it to him? Congratulations, Mr. Ouattara.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first ever Education Minister for the Ghana's Youth President is Ouattara Yahaya. And now his awards. Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. Ouattara Yahaya. Ladies and gentlemen, up next is gender ministry, issues with the gender, disability, and of course the vulnerable in society. Ladies and gentlemen, to do the presentation for us is Matilda Hine. And now let's welcome the judge to announce who won in the gender ministry category.
Gender Minister for this year's competition. The award goes to Comfort Amadi. Congratulations, Comfort.
And truly deserving, yes, of course. Any other thing is up to the public. Again, thank you very much. Congratulations to Amadi Comfort for pulling this all through. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together and celebrate. Please wait. Finance Ministry is up next. And to do the presentation for us is Dr. Kukubaini.
The Finance Minister's Award goes to Mr. Raphael Opoku of the Yasantua Cabinet.
Ladies and gentlemen, Raphael Opoku is your Finance Minister, well vexed in the figures, policies, and of course policy direction as far as his manifesto ideas are concerned. Very clear-cut ones would win you. And now the award from Dr. Kukubaini to the best Finance Minister for the Ghana's Youth Reality TV show. Ghana's Youth President. All right, so thank you very much. Doc, please stay with us. Now let's do the Health Ministry.
The Health Minister goes to Isaac Boateng Dramina
from the Democrats.
Okay, housemanship. Okay, that's what he used to bully the guys. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause. Congratulations to him. He is a practitioner. He is a medical doctor by profession and practicing at Kolebu. And so you can understand all of these. All right. Okay, now the awards from Dr. Kuku Baini to the Health Minister, first ever on the maiden edition of Ghana's Youth President reality TV show. Congratulations. Thank you very much, Dr. Kuku Baini. All right, and that's our health ministry right there. Let's now welcome Inspector Asamani to do the next from the energy ministry. Let's welcome Inspector Asamani to do the presentation of the awards.
The energy minister for the Model Cabinet Awards goes to Mr. Prince Osei Owusu of the Republic Cabinet.
All right, let's now do Zongo Ministry. The Zongo Ministry.
Strangely, the winner for the Zongo Ministry, and I think this is a surprise, Portia Nana Ama Dupont.
For your ideas and your award now. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to Portia, and thank you very much, Chief Inspector. To present, let's welcome Mr. Collins to do the presentation of awards for us. Mr. Collins, if you're here, please do us the honors by presenting these awards to the well-deserving minister from the Food and Agric Ministry.
The Food and Agriculture Minister Award goes to Mami Pokua Opoku. Congratulations.
Mami Pokua Opoku, Season 1 of Ghana's Youth President reality TV show. This is your Agric Ministry. All right, congratulations. And thank you. Mr. Collins, please stay with us and do the last one. Some photos, if you like. All right, congratulations, Mami Pokua Opoku, for pulling that off. All right, and so let's now do Sanitation Ministry.
And the Minister for Sanitation goes to Gideon Degbe.
Ladies and gentlemen, for Sanitation, let's welcome Miss Irene to do the presentation of the first special award. Youth President 2020. Prince Osei Owusu. Let's put our hands together for Prince Osei Owusu, the best youth MP, first ever. On tonight's Millennium Youth Impact Award, we get to award you again. All right, very well. And that's your best youth MP, Prince Osei Owusu. Congratulations. Please, if you are excited, a round of applause once again. All right, to the next special award, the Loyalty Award. And that's self-explanatory, loyalty in all levels. Let's welcome Ms. Agnes Agi to do the presentation of award. Ms. Agnes Agi. Let's put our hands together for Ms. Agnes Agi. I get it that this man that won the Loyalty Award has been with Youth Leadership Parliament for a long, long time and truly deserves this. We award for the Loyalty Award category Alihu Wakilu. Alihu Wakilu. You have for yourself the Loyalty Award. Was never ending. Thank you very much. With this award, we pray that you still stay and bring a lot more people It is time to lead and lead the right way. Loyalty Award once again goes to Alihu Wakilu. A round of applause. And the award is Leadership Star of the Year. The Leadership Star of the Year award presented by Dr. Kuku Baini. And it goes to Andy Amankwa. Ladies and gentlemen, Andy Amankwa is the Leadership Star of the Year, or wins the Leadership Star of the Year award, wherever you are. And this is not to discourage all the youth. And our voice right now is to encourage you. And I'll be awarded from Dr. Kuku Baini. There you go. The Leadership Star of the Year award goes to Andy Amankwa. Thank you very much, Dr. Kuku Baini. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for who the very first ever Ghana's youth president is? It was keenly contested and, of course, run between 5 people representing 5 cabinets. A quick run through: Kweku Denchi Osei, Rema Nyaku, Andy Amankwa, Jonathan Konembe, Evans Edem Hockey. These are our presidents, and one of them, after tonight, is our very first Ghana's youth president. Ladies and gentlemen, the first ever Ghana's youth president for our reality TV show 2020, Evans Edem Hockey. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome him. He is our Ghana's youth president. The very first time happening on your screens all throughout. This is the man of the moment. We're truly, truly grateful that you could achieve this feat. Awards will be presented by COP Christian Tete Yohonu. The Ghana's youth president, indeed, from the judges and the public votes, they have decided, and he is the very first one to receive the coveted award from us here at Youth Leadership Parliament. I think it's a good time to hear from him. Shall we now allow COP Christian Tete Yohonu to go? Let's hear from Ghana's youth president.
All protocols duly observed. It is an honor to stand before such prominent dignitaries to express my sincerest gratitude to, first of all, the founder of YLP, Kobe Fabian. We started this journey together, and he told me, Evans, you need to stay with me. You need to believe in this dream and let us drive it. I told him, Kobe, I know you've gone through a lot. It is not the time to let it go. We started together, and we will end it and finish together. We are always saying that we are the future now. This award does not give me that authority to do anything I like. Now I have the real responsibility to change the course of leadership when it comes to youth development. I can assure him and everyone present that this mantra that has been handed over to us will not end here. We will deliver and make sure that the Millennium Impact Project excels and gain grounds to change lives and make meaningful impact. Thank you, and God bless us all.